listen to it live. But hello, my name is Megan. I know my face doesn't pop up here to see that while I'm talking, but I think the slides are really, really important on this one. So I will try it on Facebook today. I might do a Zoom link in the future. We'll see how it goes. But I'm starting a series called Wellness Wednesdays. It's a time for me to chat with you about new topics. Today, we're talking about a couple things, and I really do need the slides for it because the information is probably very new to you. You may never have heard about functional medicine testing before. And so I want to show you what it looks like and kind of break it down to just make it seem a lot easier to manage. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in. You might not know who I am. I'm the admin of this group. Here you go with a picture of me. I talk a lot about health and wellness. So I call myself a wellness coach, not a health coach, because I don't just talk about nutrition or exercise. I talk about a lot more things. I talk about mindset. I talk about systems to help you stress less and make your life more balanced. And I have this certification, I have this other part of my business, and I feel like I should talk about it more, but I help people heal at the root level using functional medicine. I'll tell you about it, but I wanted to introduce that part first so you just had an idea. So when I talk about overall health, that includes everything from nutrition and diet and exercise and sleep to a lot more beyond that, but we'll keep it simple for today. I talk about mindset, I talk about systems. We're going to kind of touch on these, but we will dive into where to start, some functional medicine lab test options. Specifically, the one I'm talking about is stress and metabolism because that's what my people tend to want to hear. So we'll dive into that one specifically. And I'm going to end today with Black Friday deals. Now, I know your attention span might be, I don't know, about the size of a goldfish. It might be a little bit longer, hopefully, but I'm not going to make this super long. It's going to probably be 15 minutes or so, but I want to share my Black Friday deals with you. And I want to talk a little bit about these tests first because you might not even know what they are, but they're really, really helpful in knowing what's going on and how to see results as quick as possible for exactly your body. So I always like to ask, what symptoms do you have right now? And so usually I am doing this in a Zoom setting and I can actually see people, but I realize like as Facebook talks, talks and tells people that we're live, it is probably a little delayed. So I don't know if I will see any engagement in the chat. But if you're watching this later, please engage with me. I'm a real person. I do talk to you. I respond back to all the comments and all the messages I get, all the emails. So please show me some love. Tell me what symptoms you're having. And if it's like super anonymous, you don't want to say it out loud, you can message it to me. That works too. But I'm curious and I want you to think, what symptoms do you have right now? Is it truly that you can't lose weight or is there something else? Is it that your sleep is terrible? You're waking up at 3 a.m. and you don't know what's going on? Is it that your confidence is super low because you can't fit into your clothes? Is it that you have acne showing up on your face, or you have bloating, or you have really painful periods, or your hair is getting thinner? Like, what is going on with your symptoms right now? Okay, so considering that, I have a couple here just to help. Maybe this will help trigger a bell for you. Fatigue, bloating, weight gain. I know that's just about everyone here. That's what the group's named. Mood swings, anxiety, poor sleep, brain fog, low libido, hair loss, or thinning hair. So I'm curious if you had one of those, all 10 of those, like how many symptoms do you actually have? So I always start with this, and I know it's not fun to think about everything that's wrong, but I do like to make you aware of what is happening because sometimes we just gloss over it, ignore it, turn on our phone and scroll and just make it go away. However, when we are thinking about these symptoms, we might just be masking them, right? Like, ooh, I'm gonna take I don't know, some sort of pill to get rid of my bloating. Gas X, that's the word. I'm gonna take some Gas X to get rid of my bloating. Or I'm gonna take melatonin so I can sleep better, right? And we just put a band aid on these symptoms. And that is not the goal, right? We don't want to just chase these symptoms, put a band aid on them. We want to move toward a place of precision wellness. We want to actually heal it from what is going on at the beginning and at the root, not just putting a band aid. So where do you start? I call it my core four. This is nutrition, movement, sleep, and hydration. This is what I go over in my group program. We talk about it all the time. And these are the habits, especially if you don't know where to start, this is where you start. Even if you have been doing this for years and you've been tracking macros or counting calories, going to the gym, all the things, you probably still need to start here. And honestly, I see a lot of success with people just optimizing these things, but it's not the end story. So we can go a little deeper. This is for my group program, by the way. So when we start talking about these other things, that is another option for you as well. So if you are already eating healthy, maybe you're exercising, you're still not seeing results, there's clearly something else going on. So these symptoms aren't random. Your body is overwhelmed, it's stressed, it's out of balance, and there is something that we can do to shift it. And so looking at data helps you really understand what is going on, why you feel off, and actually what you need so you can get results as quick as possible. So I come from a place of functional medicine. I'm not a doctor. I was on a PhD route, which I realize is still not a medical doctor. So that is part of my history. I love science. I love data. I have a master's now in molecular biology because I didn't want to complete that degree. I didn't see myself ending up in a lab and writing grants. That wasn't what I wanted. This is how I want to help people, is more face to face with people, actually helping you see results and actually changing your life. This is much more impactful to me. So anyway, that's a little bit about my story. The reason I didn't necessarily want to go into conventional medicine is because I think it just masks the symptoms. Like, okay, you have diabetes, cool. We will give you insulin. Not, we will change your diet. Oh, you have high cholesterol. Cool, let's give you a statin. Not, let's change your diet and add in some movement, right? So I'm asking, why is this happening? And I really talk about prevention. So a doctor, if you have something severe going on, go to a doctor. If you want to prevent a disease, then you chat with me. That is what I'm here to do. So functional medicine lab tests, quick like overview of them. There are so many. I just put like a handful on the screen. These are like my top 11. I have one that I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to make it fairly simple, just one that we'll talk about. And it's this guy right in the middle. But there are so many tests that can give you answers depending on your symptoms. I'm talking about this test specifically because the people I work with tend to be stressed out. They tend to want to lose weight. This is the test that you can start with to address both of those things. So we will dive into that a little bit more today. So this test is called the Stress, Mood, and Metabolism Test. The purpose of taking this is to know what's going on with stress, to know what's going on with your thyroid, your metabolism, like what is going on with your control panel quote, because your energy sucks, your mood is high, low, and you can't lose the weight, right? Like that is what I hear. So these are some of the symptoms, diving in a little more specifically. If you feel tired but wired, so that means when you go to bed, your brain is racing, you can't turn off, you're tossing and turning, can't fall asleep. Or in the afternoon, 2 o'clock comes around and you just crash and you need coffee to make it through the day. You have stubborn weight gain, especially around that midsection, your belly fat. Your sleep sucks. You either can't fall asleep, can't stay asleep, so on. Your mood, high, low, anxiety, depression, any sort of mood swings there. Or you have different thyroid symptoms despite, quote unquote, normal labs. So this is for you. I'm going to show you some actual data. These are from some of my clients, and some of them are actually from my family. Just telling you that there's more to what goes on besides the lab. So I'll give you some anecdotal stories, again, keeping it kind of quick. But what this is showing in this particular test are sex hormones. So females, we really want to look at estrogen and progesterone, but testosterone is important too. And we also want to look at DHEA, which is like the precursor. It's the one that makes all the rest of the hormones, just so you know what you're looking at. So in these different tests, what we're looking at in this particular case, and for whatever reason, I think I just copied that twice instead of putting a new one. So there's only 2 tests here. So what I'm seeing on this top one is that all hormones are super low. So estrogen and testosterone are low, lower than optimal, but progesterone and DHEA are in the red. They are super low. So this person is kind of like running on empty. Their markers are out of range. When we look at other things, those are going to be out of range, but they're really going to have trouble with energy. They're going to have trouble regulating their mood, like all the things. They're really low. They're running toward adrenal fatigue and burnout. On the other hand, this person looks different. Their estradiol is super high, and even the testosterone is elevated, where their progesterone is low and their DHEA is kind of like bordering on that low, but is okay. So that's really interesting. It tells me that they're not quite at this burnout stage, but they still need to optimize their hormones there. There might be other things going on, could be stress, could be something gut related that is causing their hormones, but they're still feeling off. This person was having night sweats because their estrogen was super high. They were having perimenopause, like menopause symptoms. So they were like wondering what's going on, but their hormones were just starting to be out of whack. So what do we do about it? A lot of it is adjusting nutrition and exercise, and sometimes it's supplements. So I listed them out here, and they depend on, of course, what the test result is, but supplements can kind of help you feel better quicker while you work on nutrition and exercise because those take a little longer. I also look at cortisol in this test. So cortisol in this person, look how high it is. They were so beyond stressed. I've never seen it. This is like the highest I've ever seen it. Just very, very high cortisol levels. They're beyond stress. Their body is on overdrive, trying to keep up, trying to keep them going. This one, I know the test result looks different. It's still measuring cortisol throughout different parts of the day. So you see morning, noon, evening, night. That is what is represented in the bottom as well. The top two look okay. The afternoon one may be a little low, but like that could be okay. But the one that really concerns me, and I'll move my mouse so it like goes down. The one that concerns me is that evening one is actually super out of range. It's very high. So this person was tired and wired. They couldn't turn their brain off to fall asleep. They were having trouble sleeping, which affects everything. So we really had to target that part of the stress. And we did that with specifically with Adrenal Soothe in this case. And then we looked at thyroid again. So thyroid being like rounding out. The last one on there is insulin and A1C levels. So this looks at lots of different markers. This person's thyroid was okay for the most part, but their TPO antibodies were actually out of range. And I'm trying to get this to go away, but it's not. There it goes. So their TPO antibodies were out of range. And in the second result, their TPO antibodies were extremely elevated. So what I usually see is that doctors on your annual physical, they'll usually measure TSH, but they might not even measure T4 and T3. They rarely measure TPO antibodies. But what was interesting in both of these cases is that person was dealing with stress. They were dealing with a lot of other things, which is what our labs ended up finding out. But stress was kind of the driver that pushed them into really high levels of antibodies, and both of them were either bordering or actually clinical for Hashimoto's disease. And that is a big deal, right? So how did they get there? What is the root cause of that? It was probably stress. So we wanted to address stress. We wanted to address nutrition, add in additional nutrients, making sure they're getting all the things they need. And in the short term, we added some supplements as well. So thyroid support for them to make sure like selenium and vitamin D, all the things, iodine, like all of those levels are good. It comes back to nutrition, but there are things that you can do to feel better in the short term. Not a prescription, not a, something you take for life, but you are trying to feel better quicker. And then I also look at insulin and A1C. In this case, insulin was high. I like to see that lower. And so this person could have also been bordering on prediabetes. Now, if you go to the doctor, they're going to be like, you're not in the red, you're fine. But I still want to see that level lower for a functional medicine range. All right, if you are bored with the data, I'm moving on. I love this. I know not everyone else does, but I wanted to show you like what do these tests actually look like and what can you get out of them. So in summary, what do we look at? We looked at cortisol, we looked at thyroid, we looked at all the hormones beyond just DHEA, but all of the female hormones as well, and we looked at insulin and metabolism markers. There is another test I'm going to point out very quickly. It's so similar, but it doesn't look at the insulin and A1C. Instead, it actually tests for fertility and perimenopause, like yes or no, you are in perimenopause, yes or no. So that is very helpful. But all of the cortisol markers, all the other hormones are there as well. So it's very similar, and that could be a really good choice for you if you are wondering about perimenopause and if that is actually affecting you or if it's something else, which I get a lot of questions about in this group too. All right, so if you are looking at this being like, oh my God, where do I start? This feels overwhelming. Let me pause for a second, and this is what I want to really hone in on. When I talk to my clients, we talk about symptoms. Every check-in, I'm like, well, what symptoms are you having? Because we can start honing in on this before I even do a single lab test. We target a lot of this in my program. I call it that core four, right? It's the nutrition, the diet, the sleep, and the hydration. And we start there. And typically for the first few months, that makes a huge difference. But sometimes they hit a rut, or sometimes they want to get there faster. And this is where we can test, not guess, to get results even quicker. So where do you start with this? And this is what I tell my clients too. So I will drop these links in the comments. We start with a functional medicine detox. Almost always, it's not required, but I do recommend it. It's not, it doesn't have to include starving, by the way. There is a fasting option, and I call it an option, but it doesn't matter if you don't fast and you just eat clean, then you still see a ton of results. What you are doing is you are flooding your body with a lot of nutrients. I actually use this every day, but you get like a double dose during the detox, and this is a multivitamin plus protein. You also add in these detox capsules at morning and at dinner, and they help basically optimize your body to run better. They make your liver work better, your kidney work better. They help your body flush out more toxins than it would otherwise. Okay, so you add in nutrients and you get rid of toxins. You still eat while you're doing this. Obviously, you provide your own food. I help you with the meal plan, and actually it comes with its own suggestions of meal plans and so on. But it's just really optimizing your body so you feel good. There is an option for 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. Ideally, you're doing 21 days. You're going to see the most benefits, but even 7 days are better than nothing. And I'll mention that I'll start talking about it more, but I'm doing a community detox in this group on January 5th. So we'll have a thread. We will talk about what's going on. You can ask questions. It'll be like not a side chat, but it'll be a thread that we can talk about what's going on for the detox. So I'd love to invite you for that. You can start thinking about it now, but you'll start hearing more about it. All right. After the detox, then you have an option. Obviously, you can just continue with the core four, or you could continue looking at what's going on at the root level. And I do recommend, if you have stress, if you can't lose weight, if you're not sure what's going on with your hormones, these are the tests that you could do. There are more. We could look at gut tests. We could look at more, but let's just talk about one for right now. This is the one that I recommend. With that, I want to introduce something exciting, and you'll be seeing it for the next 2 weeks because I am doing this through the rest of November, and that is my Black Friday sale. I have two options for you today. One of them is if you just want to focus on the core four. You're like, I need to get my habits in order. I really just want to focus on exercise, nutrition, and sleep and hydration, like the core four. This group coaching option is going to be the best option for you. I'm offering a free 3-week trial. And so we're starting December 1st. It's getting you right through like a few days before Christmas and gearing you up to start the year really in December, not on January 1st. Because realistically, like, are you actually going to, like, you're going to start January 1st and then you're going to stop by like January 8th, right? That's what they say. So let's just start now, get going. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy the holidays. It doesn't mean you can't eat a Christmas cookie. It just means that you're starting earlier because you're committed to your goals. So if you are committed to your goals and you want to see what I have inside of my trial, it's pretty much exactly what my current clients are getting. You get access to the group chat, you get access to your own custom protocol, you get access to my group coaching calls like every single week, you get access to talk to me messages, 24-hour access, and an app where it's all hosted in one place. So I'll share that again in the group, but I want to make sure that you see this option, and I love it so much. It's like almost a $400 value. You should totally take advantage of it. If you want to dive in deeper, you can also have the free trial, by the way, but you could add on a free functional medicine lab test. This would be a more in-depth approach because we're talking about one-on-one coaching here. That is a little more high touch. We are doing the lab testing. And if you pay for your first month, I'm going to throw in your free functional medicine lab test, which is worth the same price as a first month anyway. So you might as well just get a test out of it and start with these healthy habits. All right. So much information here. I'm going to post this in the group, but I wanted to, if anyone was coming on live, I wanted to share it with you first for being here and also just explaining what this is because I know it's dense. I know it's a lot of information and I wanted to just make it a lot more broken down and easy to understand. So what I'll do is, this is my link, but I will drop the link in the comments. This is your first step. Apply to the free 3-week trial. There's an option. It's going to say, hey, do you want just the 3-week trial? Or hey, do you want that free functional medicine lab test as well? It doesn't have to be the stress, mood, metabolism. It can be any of the ones that I offer. But if you're interested in that, it'll give you that option. So that's your first step. Simply apply. If you're a good fit, I'll reach back out usually within the next day and say, hey, I'm excited to get started. Here's your onboarding forms. We start December 1st. So you can have all of your intake forms in. I can have your protocol written and you can officially start December 1st and have that full 3 weeks. So now it is your turn and I will go ahead and wind this up. Look at me at under 30 minutes. I'm so happy with that. So it is your turn. I want you to reflect on everything I just said and prioritize things. Like, what do I need to do? What are the 1 to 2 action steps that I need to do right now in order to get results so that 2026 isn't gaining more weight? 2026 isn't having to buy new clothes because you don't fit into the smaller sizes from this year, right? Like you have to buy bigger clothes. 2026 is going instead, it's going to be the best year where you're not afraid of taking family pictures, where you embrace getting into a bathing suit next summer, or who knows, over vacation this winter. You get to do all of these things because you're not holding yourself back. Can't wait to have you on the inside. Can't wait to see what's going on with you and why you are stuck and getting you results. And I'm really looking forward to your application. So thank you so much. I will add those links into the comments. Appreciate you being here, and I will talk to you soon.